Hello everyone and greetings welcome to the 8th week of the Painting 2.
Hello everyone, greetings and welcome to the 8th week of the Painting 2.
I think someone's trying to take my job. No, he's given up. Oh, hello there.
Hello there.
Are you trying to take my job?
Are you trying to take my job?
Yes, it seems so.
Yes, it seems so.
I think we'll turn you off.
I'll turn you off.
Yes, we had enough of that, didn't we? Anyway, it's me again, Professor Scott, with my silenced little companion. And Fritz is once again revealing his bone structure to you. And this week we're just going to look at the hand and its nature. Now the hand, for most of us, is one of the more difficult parts of the body to draw. I'm not a great hand artist, I must admit that. In the history of art, if you look at a lot of paintings, especially if you go around museums, you won't see many hands. And there's a reason for this, is that they're tricky to paint. And they're tricky, if they go wrong, and they can easily go wrong, it really shows. If you look at the great master Rembrandt, his hands in his paintings look okay, but if you closely examine them, they're always just fluffed around, very quickly done in a way, so that it deceives the eye that they look well done, while in fact, they're deceiving the eye, let's put it like that. Somebody who could do hands was the German artist Albrecht Dürer, whose hands have great accuracy, reality, and are very convincing as hands. So, let's have a quick look at this thing. It has each finger, as you can see, we have the thumb and the index finger here and the ring finger and the pinky. Each finger has got really 4 major bones. 1, 2, 3. And the thumb has got really 3 major bones. So that's the difference in the nature of the two of them. Thumb and finger. You always think of them as the same thing, but they're slightly different. So with this, we have got this bone here, and then this long bone here, and then a small bone, and then a tiny little bone at the end. That thing. That's the bit that the Japanese gangsters always cut off in films. They take the meat cleaver or knife or something like that and just slice it off to show their loyalty to the Yakuza. So I'm going to try and draw that and tell you what it's like. I have to admit, it's many years since I've actually tried to draw a hand skeleton. So let's see. Let's start. That's it. Let's get that posed properly. Now this might be tricky for you, so if you're finding it difficult and the photographs I sent you aren't adequate, just pay reference to the books that I sent you from the internet. There is a page with hands, and you can use that and work from that. Or find stuff on Google, the wonderful lexicon of imagery that is par excellence. So I'm kind of working on it each bone at a time. Now you will be becoming aware that the bones have all relationships with each other, so that the femur and the lower leg, the connections, the arm, the humerus and the lower arm, the connections, you're aware now. And it's the same with these finger bones on a smaller scale. They have connections. little, and what do I mean by connections? I mean where the two bones are interconnecting, there's a relationship. One butts into the other. So there is the second bone coming in there, and I'm going to do that. Slightly just butting it in. I won't spend so long on this because I know it's quite boring watching someone draw. I'm going to move on to the next bone, and there is a connection there as each bone is related. Now there's a lot of bones in the wrist here, which I will get round to later. For me, this is going to be one of the more difficult exercises. You know, we're reaching the end of it now. So if you've carried on this far, you're doing very well. I don't know what kind of pen or pencil you're using. I prefer a softer pencil for drawing with. It gives, oh, stay still, Fritz. It gives you more control over the line, and it gives you, whoops, greater shading potentials between dark and light. There you are, thank you, Fritz. I'll try not to talk so much because the slightest thing is jittery. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Like Rembrandt, you can fool the eye. You know, we're not producing photographs. So, like the great master, regarded as possibly one of the greatest artists of history, if he can get off with it, we can too. I'm doing the thumb now. I've done the 4 main fingers here, and I'm going to do the thumb just kind of like a little bit separate, you know, because it has that slightly different ability than the rest of the fingers. Yep. Now, if you were serious on this, you can use one. You could try and get one of those Halloween skeletons. I don't steal one from somebody's garden, though, for God's sake. But I think they come quite cheaply. You know, some of them are rubbish, but some of them are rather accurate. You know, it surprises me when I walk around this area of Brooklyn, and people have put stuff in the windows and on whatever gardens they've got, and some of the skeletons, I mean, there's even somebody around the corner from us who's got like a 20-foot tall skeleton. I mean, it's a huge kind of King Kong skeleton wandering along, you know, and it's amazing. But usually some of them are quite accurate. It's quite surprising the trouble they've gone to. So the thumb is smaller, and I must remember that because I'm talking away. I've always found it difficult to talk and do art at the same time, so this is always a challenge for me every week doing these things. I'm one of those guys who just likes to sit silently doing the work, but I'm learning, like you're learning. So here we are. I've done so far that you can see it's not too bad, and it's taken roughly 6 minutes. So, you know, that's not a lot to ask for you for a week's work, is it? No? So I'm just gonna, you know, with all these little bones at the top of the hand here, basically I'm not even gonna try and count them. I don't know the name of them, I just call them wrist bones. Because I'm not a scientist, but they must have a name. I'm an artist. And that will connect onto your arm bone from last week, which is here. It's actually an interesting thing to draw the skeleton, you know, once you get into it, you know, you can spend hours looking at this thing. And yeah, I've just waffled these wrist bones in here, you know, as long as it looks okay. So there they are attached to the lower arm. And that is the entire thing. Now, if you can get this drawing done and email it or text it to me by the, let me see what the deadline for this week's exercise, the 14th. So that would be the 21st of October, which is a Wednesday. So if you can get that done, it's taken me 7 or 8 minutes. That's not a lot of time out of your week. You can use the books that I sent you if you're lost, or please just go to the internet and look at one on your phone. And will you say goodnight? Hello? No? Dead as a doornail. I mean, when you want, never work with children and animals, but always work with skeletons. Yeah. Giving up the ghost. That's it. Now he comes back. So that's it. I wish you a great week. Do you wish them a great week? I think he does. So cheerio for now. Send the things to me. Nighty night. Night night.